At this point, I'd be remiss if I didn't review this movie because it is the season after all. Sure, when it came to releasing my videos on the 2 previous installments, I missed the ideal time frame considerably. Fuck knows why when it came to Halloween 2018, but Kills never stood a chance because I spent the majority of that year's October indulging in various forms of debauchery with a big-titted Hungarian chick. So the odds of an apology regarding that delayed upload coming out of my mouth are about as probable as the taste of my salt malt leaving hers. 4 years after Haddonfield was last plagued by Michael Myers, Laurie Strode's granddaughter Alison finds herself romantically involved with some twat called Corey, whose grasp on sanity is declining quicker than my channel's popularity. If you recall my reviews of the Preludes, you'll know that neither of them made me particularly hard. Halloween Ends couldn't even inspire an involuntary dick twitch. It gave me the impression that everyone involved was aware that this is allegedly the last contribution to the series, so they decided to put in what at best could be described as apathetic tokenism. The very nature of the movie's premise makes it feel like a soap opera that was occasionally interrupted by the slasher genre. I suppose theoretically with efficient writing and decent acting those two would make a palatable cocktail, but here it's like chugging a cold glass of bile and piss. The drama aspect could not have been less immersive and the horror elements were extremely lackluster. Literally none of the jump scares were successful and any attempt to tap into me from a psychological standpoint was a fail, mainly due to the aforementioned absence of immersion. From a technical perspective, the film is also uninspiring. Each member of the cast delivered a performance ineligible of remembrance. The cinematography is super basic. Any admiration I had for the Carpenter's musical talents are heavily nulled here because having it incorporated with these specific visuals was like listening to a symphony of Japanese female orgasms whilst bearing witness to someone with irritable bowel syndrome taking a Fagomania-fueled shit all over the PlayStation 5 I'm yet to get a hold of. You may have noticed that my summary of the plot didn't really revolve around Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, and that's because the movie didn't either. The fact that the official posters only feature these two is objectively false advertising because they are not even close to being the flick's focal point. If said posters were to accurately depict the characters' involvement, then Corey and Alison would be at the forefront, with Laurie and Michael filling up what little negative space remains whilst donning an opacity percentage lower than the odds of that Hungarian chick unblocking me from social media. Including credits, Halloween Ends is 1 hour and 51 minutes long. Jamie Lee Curtis does get more spotlight here than she did in Kills, but is still on screen for a mere fraction of the runtime. The Shape doesn't even show up until the movie is over 40 minutes old, then we have to wait a further quarter of an hour for a second brief appearance, and afterwards is sparsely featured in a manner we aren't familiar with. Over the past 44 years, Michael Myers, even in various adaptations, has been portrayed as an unstoppable force incapable of feeling pain that also, irrespective of now being in his golden years, can perform feats of strength that most bodybuilders in their prime couldn't achieve without the assistance of PEDs and cocaine. Alas, the writers decided to nerf Michael in the name of using him as a platform to elevate this new antagonist, which was done because Corey hasn't got an interesting backstory. His arc is predictable, and Rohan Campbell, the catalyst causing this fart in the wind, is either dreadful at acting, I haven't seen him anywhere else so can't compare this outing to his previous work, or was phoning it in for a paycheck with no fucks given about the franchise. Regardless, this attempt at whatever goal the creative fuckwits were trying to achieve ultimately wasn't worth it, unless the intention was to stain the legacy belonging to one of the most iconic slasher villains of all time, in the same way that the existence of Yves Guillemot is a blemish to the human race's integrity, then box fucking ticked. Of course, the majority of these complaints would be rectified if the film showcased a tastefully drawn out killing spree that's body count is so high it would require an army of embalmers to get the corpse's funeral ready. In fairness, an attempt was made, but it wasn't gorelicious enough to alter my opinions. The kills themselves were way more fresh than the ones featured in the series' recent predecessors, and for me this short-lived segment was by far the best part of the movie, in spite of feeling like it was conducted by a tribute act as opposed to original talent, which added a dispirited vibe comparable to Comic-Con inviting me to host a seminar that I sadly ended up pulling out of last minute because reasons, and as a result the organisers had God fill in for me. When I heard that Ends was scheduled to be the last chapter in the Halloween filmography, I had 3 reasonable requests. 1. Unhinged violence topping anything seen before in its forefathers. Didn't get it. 2. A very bloody showdown between Laurie and Michael. Doubt I was alone in that one, as this whole story, which began in 1978, has by all accounts been about the babysitter versus the boogeyman, so by all rights the loyal fan base as well as all who've contributed to these movies, especially from the beginning, deserve an epic au revoir that should include my third and most most important ask. Unequivocal closure. I did get the showdown, but it wasn't as bloody as I would have liked, and as far as closure is concerned, there was an outcome. Let's just leave it there so I don't accidentally spoil without warning and subsequently get hounded in the comments section. That's always so fucking barren, I may as well disable it. I've undeniably had fun reviewing every entrant of the new trilogy, however I believe that no more should be made. 2018 kills and ends have by no means tarnished Halloween's legacy, but pumping out more appendages of similar quality would cause it to fade faster than the likelihood of a successful hand shandy given by someone with carpal tunnel syndrome.